Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Sunday morning. I'm going to talk about the threat for severe weather. The higher threat is really to the south of us here in North Alabama, but the threat is increasing from parts of Louisiana into Mississippi today, and then on into the rest of South Alabama overnight tonight and into tomorrow, spreading into Georgia. North Alabama is right on the edge here. As take a look at this graphic here, what we're going to see, this is from the Storm Prediction Center. And the hatched area, this is the tornado outlook here. And they do have a higher risk for severe weather from basically central Louisiana into south central parts of Mississippi. And up into, say, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, Talladega, these areas, that's the 5 to 9% chance. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but that is enough to probably see a tornado watch later today. And you notice it kind of cuts off as we get into northern Coleman County, and parts of Madison County. As far as the rain we have this morning, again, this is around 11:15 this Sunday morning. We have a large area of rain that's moving in to Guin and Winfield and Fayette and eventually Coleman. That's going to be moving all the way up into North Alabama, and that's actually going to help keep us a little bit more stable out there. So that's some good news for us. But overall, the higher threat, again, as we've been tracking this for a while, is over parts of south central Alabama. Here's a look at the water vapor imagery, and you can clearly see out to the west there's this big dry slot across Texas and the deep moisture feed that continues from Louisiana all the way up into North Alabama. Another satellite perspective here, you can see that over New Mexico and West Texas. That's just this big, what I've been calling the bowling ball, so to speak, in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So that's going to be moving through. Let's take a look at the model guidance here, and as we take a look at this, again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Again, I've reached a milestone over the weekend with 10,000 subscribers. And again, thank you very much. You guys make this all possible. So subscribe today. That way you get more of these updates and notifications as they become available. Let's talk about our weather today and then down into South Alabama. What we're looking at is the HRRR model. We usually, a lot of times we talk GFS and European model, but as we get closer to the event, and we're pretty close. I mean, it's happening now. Typically, you get into the higher resolution models. What you're looking at here is rainfall over Mississippi and parts of course, all of Alabama. It's not handling this rain we have this morning very well at all. Because you notice here, this is 2 o'clock this afternoon. We already know there's rain on the radar. It's already raining. So that's the other challenge. And the models have been a little bit off. They're never really solid. They're just guidance that we use. And yesterday was a perfect example of that, as most of the rain held up just off to the north in the state line up in Tennessee until the afternoon or late afternoon. But here comes the rain. And one thing that I'm noticing here as we get into about 3 o'clock this afternoon, that large area of rain develops along a warm front that's going to be lifting to the north. And that's going to be right in here from Greenville, just south of Tuscaloosa by 7 o'clock this evening. So I think after this initial round of rain moves through, even thunderstorms, some of these storms could be on the strong side this afternoon. Again, I want to show you once more what you're seeing here on the radar. This is actually happening at 11:34 this morning, and the model guidance is not picking up this very well at all. Our model guidance in-house at the WFF studios actually has picked this up pretty well the last few days. So what we're going to watch here is as this rain moves northeast, this is going to stabilize this a little bit, but we're still looking at some heavy rain. So once again, back to the model guidance here. As we go past 7 o'clock this evening, that warm front continues lifting to the north. The other thing I'm watching is this area low pressure. Initially, it's probably going to become occluded, and so there's going to be 2 areas of low pressure, and the occlusion area is going to end up down here towards Birmingham overnight tonight, early tomorrow morning. So we're looking mainly widespread heavy rain, fairly stable. Let's take a look at the Tuscaloosa sounding here this evening, and it's got a severe weather threat sounding on it. And again, what you're looking at is the green and the red lines. This is like if you launch a weather balloon in the air as you go up. This is the change that happens with this as it goes up. What we're seeing is increasing wind as you go up. The jet stream coming through at about 130 knots way up in the atmosphere. So watching that, again, that's more of a severe high wind threat coming in. And then it starts to really drop off as we go very early tomorrow morning. So that, again, that's the Tuscaloosa area. And I'll get to the Auburn area here in just a second. This is 3 o'clock in the morning. Notice the main area of heavy rains down here off from Montgomery, Auburn, over to Atlanta. And then we continue to see tomorrow morning the main area low pressure. There we go. Is going to be near Tuscaloosa. So the key here is the main threat of severe weather is likely going to be over towards Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, and then near Gadsden, and then down to Montgomery. So once again, this is 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. This is going to be the sounding. It's got marginal severe there for the Montgomery and the Auburn area. And as we go forward in time, it increases to marginal tornado threat, and then we get to the tornado threat here. So again, dew point temperature is going to be 66. The air temperature is about 70. And we're looking at, it's not terribly unstable, but it's just unstable enough that there's probably going to be a tornado watch for Auburn and the Montgomery area tomorrow morning. And around here, again, we're primarily looking at some high winds. Take a look at the sounding over Gadsden. I don't think it's going to be anything. Yeah, it doesn't show a whole lot of instability. And that's the thing that's going to happen. If this rain comes in, it's really going to help us out. But overall, it's not going to be, I don't expect a real high impact threat for severe weather here. So just something we'll keep an eye on. So now let's focus on the other aspects of the storm system. Again, heavy rain, gusty winds, and primarily in North Alabama, but the tornado threat and the severe weather threat, Birmingham to the south, most likely. And they have been increasing this. As we take a look, this is going to be, again, this is what I showed you earlier. I'm going to go back here. This is the actual outlook for today. They've got this enhanced risk in orange. Tuscaloosa is under the slight risk. This is all going to be happening as we get later into the evening hours. And overnight tonight, once again, the fine line here in North Alabama. So as we go back, here's the tornado. Here's tomorrow's risk area. And again, it's really close here in northeast Alabama. And if you've been following my page, we've been talking about this for a while, how this would likely be the case here where they would increase. So sometimes when we're forecasting, we don't necessarily show you exactly what the SPC outlook is. I like to go ahead and forecast what I think is on their mind and what they're going to be anticipating. So tomorrow, the brown area here, Talladega down to Auburn and Troy, this is going to be early Monday morning into the afternoon. It's more of a morning event, I think, through roughly noon tomorrow for southeast Alabama, and then moving into Georgia with that tornado threat there as well. We're probably going to see a well-formed line of thunderstorms by that point in time, and that's where the primary concern is. So again, that's the main weather maker there. I'm going to go ahead and show you. We'll go ahead and go long range here. Talk about the weather for next week. Since you guys are sticking around here this long, let's go ahead and going to use the European model. It's actually been really well lately. Going to go back here and show you the model guidance. We're going to spread this out. We're going to do the national map here. Because again, I still get a lot of questions about this snow and cold. At the hockey game last night, was, again, more people asking questions. And it's interesting how some students are actually looking at the forecast thinking that they're not going to have school kind of thing. So, again, that's not the case. So as we go through time here, there's our storm system that moves out. But there will be some heavier snow back into Oklahoma, southwest Missouri, on up to St. Louis. I think the 2 to 4 inch totals there. And then we cool down for a couple of days. And then as we move on, it's going to be a really nice week. Our temperatures are going to warm back into the 60s after Valentine's Day. And the weekend, this is Thursday. Unfortunately, the weekend looks wet still. Some heavier snow developing up here into northern Illinois, northern Missouri, and much of the state of Iowa. That's Saturday. But again, we have rain coming back in Saturday. Then another cool down, but nothing's too substantial. And that ridge really continues to build out here to the west. So above normal temperatures across Texas, Oklahoma, into Kansas and Nebraska. Again, that's a long way out. That's taking us all the way to the 21st of this month. But right now, there's nothing out there that's really cold, Just say weather alert over the next 24 hours. The storm's going to get a little bit rough at times, but overall, the higher impact threat for severe weather is likely going to stay to our south as we continue on. Again, thank you all for tuning in, and be sure to subscribe and like, and feel free to comment too. Thank you again. Again, 10,000 plus subscribers now. I'll keep these videos coming as long as you guys keep coming back.